Welcome to Getting Real with Real Estate with Danielle Kempf and Jim Kempf, St. Louis's favorite father-daughter real estate team. Your source of real estate information in the greater St. Louis area.
Well, hey, Danielle.
How you doing?
I'm good. What's going on today?
Living the dream.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeedy.
All right, so today on the podcast, we're going to talk about a topic that, I don't know, it's not real fun sometimes. It kind of brings some heartache to some people, right?
I would agree.
Okay. So,
And then I got a joke to go along with today's podcast. Well, maybe not a joke.
Yeah,
We'll call it a joke. All right, when does the home seller get the most phone calls about their house?
When? I don't know. When?
When their listing expires.
Oh.
Yeah, and
Ouch.
if you're a homeowner and you've tried to sell your home before and was unsuccessful, you'll probably understand what I'm talking about. You get,
That's
the
toughy.
day after, you get it feels like every agent in the area giving you a
Million
call,
phone call, yeah.
and you're wondering where they were. Where were you 3 days ago when my house was listed?
Right. That's, well, I mean, when we call some expired listings as well, we do that.
We
but-
do that, and we get that.
you
We hear that.
You hear these poor folks, and it's kind of, I don't know, the desperation in their voice, or like, you're the, 1,000th agent
Yeah.
that's called me today, and or they just hang up on you. But
Yeah.
yeah,
But
that's
I mean,
tough.
even sometimes like the best homes, they don't sell. So you're
That's
not
right.
alone out there.
That's right, absolutely. Statistically speaking, in the areas that we do business in here in St. Louis County, and like St. Charles, Jefferson County, the kind of the metro that we do business in. Typically anywhere. Well, this quarter, I guess we looked at it
First
from
quarter.
the first quarter, right?
2023.
Anywhere from about 6 to 7 or 7.5% of listings fail to sell and they expire. First time around, if you will.
Wow.
And there's a lot of different reasons for that
Yeah.
that it could happen. We're not here to bash any other agents or any of that kind of stuff, right?
Or act like we're on our high horses.
Right.
We understand that just like in any other profession, there's good and bad people in the industry. There's good agents and there's bad agents. And like Jim said, we're not trying to bash your agent if they were maybe one of the not so good ones. We just want to give you some talking points, some thought starters on maybe why your home didn't sell while you were on the market the first time.
Yeah, just to kind of reflect right on the experience that people might have had and kind of maybe learn from that or
Or at least know what to do differently for next time.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you still want or need to sell, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that can be
You tried to sell for one reason.
right. So it's okay.
All right, so let's just dive on in.
Well, so I guess the first one that I would have people think about is, well, how did you pick your agent, right?
Yeah, that's a good first start.
And sometimes we hear things like,
You want to tell your little story?
this happened to us, right? So we had a listing that they were even some previous clients of ours, but they had a friend, a very close friend, who had recently got in the business.
Yeah.
And
You just want to see them succeed.
Yeah,
you want to help them out.
right. I don't think it was anything against us. Obviously, it was just they wanted to try to help this person, and they kind of helped them to try to get the house ready, if you will.
Yeah.
And did some work to the place, and then put it on the market, and it didn't work out so good.
It didn't work out so good.
And part of the problem was reflected in the listing itself, the pictures, and
photos,
some of the work that was done, all that kind of stuff. But I think you have to think about how did you pick your agent?
Were you able to judge any of their experience level based off interviewing them, off talking with them?
Yeah.
Could you tell if they knew the area, knew the market?
Yeah, it's great to be good to your friends and all that stuff, but if somebody's inexperienced, right? It's a business decision to sell your house, right? I mean, it is, really, when you think about it.
It is, yeah. I would agree with that, but it's also a very emotion-driven process.
Yeah, it is. I get you. But you want to make sure someone that has the experience level, right, to help you get the job done.
Yes, I would
I guess
completely
is
agree
what
with
I
that.
would say. So, okay. So, what else?
So with your agent, how was the communication with them?
Yeah.
Was your agent calling you with updates, or were you having to call them to get updates?
Right.
Yeah. After showings, did you get feedback on like how your home showed? If you had any open houses, did you get feedback off of that? Like how many groups came through, what those people thought of your home? Even like online activity, just were you notified of any of that activity report?
Right. That's important because it helps you kind of determine, really kind of
what's going on with your home.
Right, what's going on. Like if you see a lot of activity in a listing, let's say online, right, but nobody comes through the door to see the place, you got a problem.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, so then that kind of...
Well, why is that a problem?
Well, if people see it online and you see that they're looking at your house online, right, but they're not coming in to see it, there's a disconnect there somewhere.
True.
Right? They're not seeing the value, or they're not seeing something they like, or... Right, there's just something wrong because
there's some things that's not sparking their interest to get them in the door.
Yeah, and if that happens, or for kind of an extended period of time, if you will, then you have a little bit of problem.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, just bottom line, it's probably relative to pricing, but it could just be, as an example, it could just be maybe you didn't have good pictures.
Yeah.
Right?
How'd your listing look online?
Yeah, somebody walks through your house with their cell phone and snaps some pictures, throws it online, and they're all in kind of jumbled order. They don't make sense. They don't flow through the house.
Varying colors of lighting. Some are dark and shady. Some are super bright.
Yeah, so some of those kind of things can, people see that online, and so they're like, I don't like it, so they're not going to come see your house.
Yeah.
So that feedback that your agent can give you is important to let you know kind of, hey, how are we doing? How is the market kind of responding to us?
Absolutely.
So that's I think that communication is important, and getting the feedback that's super important.
Super important. I'm going to keep going off of that. You talked about like how your listing looked online.
Yeah.
And you mentioned like professional photos versus phone photos.
Yeah.
But also like, was it vacant? Is there a bunch of stuff all over? Is it disordered? It's maybe staged? Was it cleaned recently? Is it dirty? Can you just tell the windows are dirty? Like windows are probably one of the biggest pet peeves of mine, I will call it.
Yeah.
But if you have any extra questions about how to get your home ready to sell, we have a podcast, Getting Your Home Ready to Sell. So take a listen to that one.
Right. A little plug there.
Plug there, and that'll get your home ready for photos, ready for listings.
Yeah, I mean, that's super important too, right?
Yes.
I mean,
how you live in your home is not how you list your home. And we've said that a few different times on this podcast, but you got to make your home presentable for all the buyers out there who are looking.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good one there.
Yeah.
And then like I guess one other thing is like the availability of showings. Right?
Very true.
How was that's something you got to think about. If a lot of folks these days, they work from home, and if you're living in your house before you sell, right? That can
or if
be
you're
a challenge.
working from home too.
Yeah, you're working from
9 to
home.
5, and you sometimes can't have showings in between those times.
Yep.
So that narrows down the availability of your house to show. Sometimes narrows down how many buyers. Well, it definitely narrows down how many buyers you get through the door.
Yeah, it can, and even to the extent that some folks will insist on wanting to be at the house when another agent shows it.
Ooh.
And
Not a fan of that.
No, I'm not. I'll just tell you right now, that's not a good way to go.
No.
A lot of people though really believe, a lot of homeowners, they firmly believe that they
they can sell their home?
That they can sell it, I think.
That they can market the home to the buyers and just talk with them and show them all the little details and everything.
Yeah, but what ends up happening in real life is, number one, it makes the buyers kind of nervous and uncomfortable. Uncomfortable is probably the key.
Mm-hmm.
And so they don't stick around very long. They don't look very hard. They don't ask a lot of questions. And like they may not...
You don't feel like... I didn't cut you off, but
it's all right.
You don't feel like you're able to like take a look around and actually make yourself at home because there's somebody else at home.
Right. It's like going to the suit store and the guy's like, following you around everything. Try this on, try that on, try this on, right?
Yes.
That's annoying.
Look at this doorknob, look at the light switches, look at my kitchen. Yeah,
right. They just try to oversell. People will try to oversell their own house.
Completely agreed.
And they God bless them, they think they're doing the right thing, but they're just not. They're going about it the wrong way, and that's why that's really not a real good way to go about doing things.
Yeah.
So that's, again, it's just something to think about. If you had a listing that expired and you insisted on doing that, maybe the next time around, I would just
take a quick
caution
drive,
you.
take a walk.
Yeah, take the dog out for a walk or do whatever, and let folks come in, look around, feel at home,
Yes.
and talk with their agent openly and go from there. I just think you do a little bit better that way.
Yeah.
So.
And another way to get people through the doors, not only through showings, but is open houses. So
Yeah.
did you allow your agent to do open houses? Did your agent offer?
Some don't like doing open houses.
Some people don't like doing open houses. They don't want the neighbor to know. And we understand that. We get it. But if you're not allowing open houses, just like for showings, you're limiting that many buyers coming into your home if you're not allowing open houses.
Yeah, the more your house can be available, the better.
And
you're
open
gonna
for
be.
showings.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. As much as you can accommodate other buyers, because that's the name of the game, getting people in the door.
Absolutely.
So you really have to, you just have to think about that. I know a lot of people, again, if they're, especially when they live there. Well, I was just going to say, a lot of people get weird about, other people in my house.
I would agree. And it is an inconvenience. You're getting kicked out for at least a half hour for one showing. And if you have multiple showings, we've kicked buyer or sellers out of their houses for an entire day before.
Yeah.
So
That's
it is a good thing, but it is from a homeowner's perspective, it is kind of an inconvenience.
It is kind of an inconvenience. It sure is. But just, you got to think, I guess what I would suggest that people think is, here, it's not going to be your home for long anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Because you're selling.
Yep.
And that's I think you just have to go with that mentality and just be ready to make it as open as you can, as flexible as you can, to allow as many buyers to get through there so that you can be successful in getting your house shown. So
yeah.
And then some other factors, right? You want to look at how long were you on the market?
Yeah.
Right? In this market now, if you're on the market for a couple, 3 or 4 weeks or 30 days, unfortunately, you kind of get that people thinking,
what's wrong with
what's wrong with that place? Yeah, before they ever even look at it. It might not be nothing, but it unfortunately, you get that kind of that brand, if you will, or that what's the word I'm looking for? That stigma, and it can it can make that a problem for you going forward.
Yeah.
And then, I guess, kind of relative to that, do we want to talk about, the importance of the timing?
Of when you go on the market?
Yeah, well, of when you go on, but, like how the interest level, so we always look at, and what we try to show our sellers is, it's kind of a, maybe we can plug the graph in, right? But so it's just it's a curve, basically, and it just kind of shows you, how the interest level of your listing, how it peaks, how it from day zero when you put it on the market, it ramps up pretty quickly, right? As your listing goes out to multiple websites,
trickles out to all the websites.
Yeah, people are kind of looking. So your activity level jumps up,
climbs and climbs.
Yeah, climbs up real quick, right? And then it hits a peak after maybe, it might be probably the first week, I would say, and then it starts to trickle off after that, right? And then by the time you get to the 30-day mark, your level is pretty low, right? You're not at zero, of course, but you're down you're pretty low, and after that time period, the only way you can really spark new interest in that property is by really reducing the price, essentially.
Yeah.
But that's so I guess one of the things that we would recommend to folks is you only get one chance to be a new listing.
Correct.
Right? And even if you've been on before, if you're going to go on a second time, you're kind of like a new listing, but you aren't. But still, you want everything to be right.
Correct.
Right? And
you want it to be right the first time, so when it goes out to all the websites and buyers are looking online, that your listing is ready from the get-go. You have all your professional photos and descriptions, marketing, everything like that's already in.
Yep.
So it looks professional and ready to go when it first hits the market.
Absolutely. And you kind of got to, as much as, again, I kind of hate this because it sounds like you always talk about price, but really it boils down to pricing, right?
Yeah.
Condition and pricing, but in the end,
you can adjust on condition for pricing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it really kind of boils down to pricing in the end. So it's really important to make sure that you're priced right, especially that second time.
Yeah.
Because say that.
You want me to say that?
Yeah, I mean that's exactly.
Yeah, anything sells when a buyer's perceived values equals or exceeds the sale price.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
So if it hasn't sold, somebody's not seeing the value in the property.
Exactly.
Right. That's the bottom line. And if again, I mean, if you've gotten a lot of activity and a lot of people looking and nobody pulling the trigger, there's a disconnect, and that's exactly what it is. Danielle just said it. That's 100% what it is. So you just have to be careful, even in this market, on pricing your house, and you got to make sure you're right.
Yeah,
so.
And your choice of realtor is a very important decision and should not be solely based on the I can't finish it. It should not be solely based on the highest sale price of what they think your home should be.
Right.
Marketing is a big factor in that, and that drives the price. So
you sound like a giant disclaimer.
I am a giant disclaimer. I should be on the end of a commercial. We should have saved that for the end of the episode.
Yeah, you got to talk faster.
Yeah.
But it is true. I mean, you have to. You gotta know who you're dealing with, right? And you gotta have somebody that's got some experience and knows this market.
And the market drives the price. We as agents, we don't drive the price. We don't just pull a number out of thin air and say this is what your home is worth.
Right.
We interpret what the market says your home is worth.
That's right. Yeah.
So we're just reading all the statistics, all the data, and we're just giving you a shortened version of that when we're telling you, because we've done our homework. You don't want to see all the homework we do.
Well, and I mean, here, let's just face it. I'm a geeky old engineer guy,
you like
right?
your numbers,
and I like my numbers, and I like to
the 2 decimal points.
Exactly. So, so I always want. I mean, we really we take a lot of pride in making sure when we put someone's house on the market that we feel like we're right on the price. And then, of course, we've talked before on other podcasts about a strategy for pricing and stuff like that. And that's a whole other topic, but you can listen to our other podcast. There's another plug. But it's important, right? And that's just, you can't, we used to call it buying a listing. I guess you still call it that, where you go in, maybe you're in competition for a listing, right? And as an agent, you could let the client you could tell them what they want to hear. Yeah. Oh, yeah, your house is worth, you could throw that high number at them. And then they go, wow, well, that guy said he could sell for that high number. But then what happens? You get on the market and you expire.
And you sit. Yeah.
And you just sit there because, for that very reason, we really want to make sure we'd be doing you a disservice to throw these high numbers at people and just say, oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Try and do that.
Just wasting everybody's time then.
It is a waste of time.
Yeah.
So
now you've expired, but you still want to sell. So now what do you need to consider?
Well, there's a lot of things there. I mean,
do you have to use the same agent?
We don't have to.
No.
I mean, I guess maybe.
Some do.
Some do. A lot of people do. I guess, that goes back to how you felt the whole process went the first time.
Yeah, just think about all the questions we just kind of talked about, and if you answered, my agent did all of that, maybe it just wasn't the right timing for your house. We've had that happen before, where one summer we put the home on the market and it just didn't happen to sell for a few various reasons. And then we tried again this year in 2023, sold the first weekend on the market.
Right, yeah.
Marketing was almost the same.
Yeah.
It just wasn't the right timing.
That's right. And there's some different strategies, too, as far as that timing goes that can help you on the second time around that we can share with you if you ever get the idea that you want to chat a little bit about something like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it might be a good time, just to have a fresh perspective too, though, right? That can be, at least to talk, right?
Yeah, just to get a second opinion.
Yeah.
If you get news from a doctor that you're not quite sure with, you go get a second opinion.
Right.
Same for your house. You get a second opinion on it.
Yeah, that's a huge decision, right?
It is.
Selling a house is a big financial deal.
Your choice of a realtor is an important decision. It should not be solely based on what they say the highest sale price of the home should be.
You did better that time.
No, I kind of messed up.
Yeah, well, that's all right. But yeah, I mean, if you've been through this, it is an unfortunate situation. We feel bad for folks when that happens. But if it happened to you, and you just don't know what to do next, man, give us a call. we would love to chat and just kind of show you what we could do for you.
And hopefully guide you to a successful sale.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, if it ends up that you want to, stay with your other agent and all that, that's all fine.
Yeah.
No hard feelings. We'd love to just sit down and chat with you, show you what we can do, and we think we could probably do a good job for you. So we'd love an opportunity to earn your business if that ever happened to you.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Perfect.
You've been listening to Getting Real with Real Estate with the Kemp team. Have questions about real estate or something you'd like to discuss? Contact the Kemp team at 314-336-1926 or visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Kemp Team. Don't want to miss any episodes? Follow us on your favorite podcast app or YouTube. The Kemp Team. Real, honest real estate.